Hey there, Mr. Redder here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled People Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. My stepdaughter is demanding a trust fund from me. After that, am I the jerk for not changing my tradition for my daughter-in-law and making things uncomfortable? And after that, Karen is manipulating my fiance. Now he's dumping me. Now for every thumbs up this video gets, one Karen does not get a trust fund. You drive a 98 Camry, Reddit boy. You probably don't even know what a trust fund is. So please smash that like button and subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. My stepdaughter is demanding a trust fund from me. I, 39 female, come from a very wealthy family. I never had to struggle for anything because my mom or dad would always just give it to me. I can say that I grew up spoiled, but I grew out of that phase once I had my twins. Since I was so spoiled and never got in trouble for anything as a teenager, I was always going to parties with my friends, doing things I shouldn't have been doing. Then at 16, I found out I was pregnant, and I gave birth at 17 to my two beautiful twins, a girl and a boy. Thankfully, my parents were supportive and helped me through the process. My parents had set up a trust fund for me when I was a kid, and I wasn't able to access it until I was 18. So when I turned 18, I moved out and got a condo. I only used my trust fund whenever it was for my kids, rent, or essentials around the house. I also took some out and put it in an emergency fund. I got a job at my dad's company, so I was able to live comfortable, but not keep up with the lifestyle that I grew up with. When I was 31, I met my now husband and his daughter, who was 4 years younger than my kids. Me and my husband dated for about 4 years, then we got married 2 months before my twins' birthday. On my twins' 18th birthday, my parents gifted them each a trust fund of their own. It summed up to $200,000 each. Now, my twins are both 22 years old, and both are thriving. I like to give myself a pat on the back for how I raised them and not how my parents raised me. Now to the issue at hand of my stepdaughter, who is now 18 years old, and for the past couple of months, she's been saying how she couldn't wait to get her trust fund like my twins, and I didn't know if she would or not because I never knew about the twins. Now when her birthday came around, she did get money, just not the trust fund from my parents. Instead, they gave her a car. But to say she was disappointed is an understatement. She said we didn't love her because she wasn't blood, and that we've always treated her differently because she wasn't my daughter, which wasn't true. I've loved her since the day I met her, and I've always treated her like she was one of mine. She then asked me why didn't I tell her that she wasn't getting a trust fund since that was all that she was talking about, and I told her that I didn't know if she was getting one or not. Then she told me that I should have made one for her myself. I tried to tell her that it wasn't possible, but she didn't want to listen to me and just said that she hated me. So, am I the jerk? Edit. I would just like to add beforehand, my husband has told her multiple times to not be expecting a trust fund because she might not get it. And I also told her that I didn't know if she would get one or not, but she chose to ignore us. Edit 2. So I had a talk with my parents and stepdaughter. I did ask my parents how come they didn't give her a trust fund like my twins. They said that since they don't know stepdaughter that well, that they felt like a trust fund was too personal because they didn't have that grandparent-grandchild relationship, which is understandable. My parents rarely got to see stepdaughter because she just moved in with me and my husband when we got married, and my mom and dad like to travel a lot, so they really only got to see her on holidays and birthdays. That's why they got her a car, because it's not that big of a present, because our last car was wrecked up pretty bad. I also apologized to her for not just telling her that she wasn't getting a trust fund and letting her get her hopes up, but I did explain to her that she shouldn't just expect something just because someone else got it, especially something as personal as a trust fund. She apologized for how she reacted and thanked my parents for the car, but I think she's still disappointed, so I plan to take her out of the country for a birthday trip with my husband and the twins. Also, for anyone wondering, the car she got was a 2023 BMW 5 Series. Not the jerk. Your stepdaughter has been a part of the family for only 4 years. Why would she feel entitled to a trust fund from your parents? How has your husband handled her expectations? That's what I was thinking. If they set up a trust fund for OP when she was a kid, they probably set up a trust for the twins after they were born and had 18 years to contribute and let interest accrue. If anything, maybe let the grandparents know she was talking about it and see if they were going to do the same for stepdaughter. But I'm really not sure how I feel about that. It's the grandparents' money to do with as they please, not the stepmom's. So you married her dad 4 years ago, And somehow she felt that when she turned 18, she'd be entitled to a generous trust fund from your parents? Is that correct? That's kind of crazy, to be honest. But what's crazier is that nobody, not you, not your husband, sat her down when she started to bring this up and say that it probably wouldn't happen. Not the jerk. It's a wild expectation for a 17-year-old to have, but one of her parents should have curtailed that expectation before it got out of control. Not the jerk. She got a free car. What's she complaining for? Seriously ungrateful. I would love a new car at this age. With today's economy, she can sell the new car and buy an old car to use and put the rest in an investment or a savings account. Am I the jerk for not changing my tradition for my daughter-in-law and making things uncomfortable? I have a tradition that every June and December, on the first Saturday of the month, I make a traditional dish from my country for my family and friends. Everyone loves it, and it's a family recipe. My youngest son has been married to Wendy for 3 years, together one before. I didn't know her that well because they didn't live here. Wendy is a rising chef. In June, Wendy asked if she could help me make the dish, and I said yes. It was my biggest regret. She gave advice on all seasoning choices, and even though I said it's a family recipe, she kept giving her opinion. When that date passed, I made it clear that I would not like any more help, first and last time. She took it personally, and our relationship became uncomfortable. Last month, day 16, I received an invitation from my son and Wendy to go to their house because Wendy was going to make this dish. It was the first Sunday in December. To clarify, this dish is not something you can eat 2 days in a row, as it's heavy. Some sent me a message asking if mine would still happen. They know it's always the first Saturday, and I confirmed. On the 20th, I sent the formal invitation by message. My son called as soon as he received it, asking if it would be on the first Saturday, and I confirmed, and he started saying that people can't eat it 2 days in a row, and if I couldn't leave it for another week, because Wendy wanted to do it to get closer to the family. I said no, as it's my tradition, and despite finding their choice of date unpleasant, I won't stop them, but I will continue with the usual dates. He proceeded to say I'm making things uncomfortable, and a week later it wouldn't bother me, and used the coin her invite was before. I was perplexed and said that everyone knows it's the first Saturday of the month, including them, so it wouldn't change all my plans. Things got uncomfortable, of course, but I kept it because it's something that doesn't just involve me. Friends and family already conformed. So there was a party on Saturday with friends and family. He and Wendy didn't come. And on Sunday, I didn't go because I worked that day. Many didn't come, and those who did, few ate the food because they couldn't eat it twice. During the week, my son sent a message asking if it was worth it to have done that and upset her because it spoiled the moment that she wanted to have with our family. He stressed that I could have been the better person, but I preferred not to be. I don't think this attack is very fair, but I wanted an outside opinion. It was the best date for all of my family and friends in December as they get together before the festivities, for me too. Tradition that has been going on for 10 years. Not the jerk. It sounds like she took it personally when you didn't follow her professional opinion and wanted to upstage you on your own tradition. Not the jerk. This is a family tradition of 10 years. Traditions are important, and attempting to modify or change them is offensive. 2. She's clearly trying to upstage you to prove to the family that she can make this dish better. 3. Her choice of dates was passive-aggressive. 4. Your son is also a jerk for letting this happen. If Wendy clearly wants to get closer to the family, she can easily start her own tradition which doesn't conflict with yours. Not the jerk. Your daughter-in-law seems very pretentious. Instead of trying to be respectful of you and your recipes, she's decided she'd rather upstage you, in her eyes. Your son owes you an apology, and you need to make it clear to him that she is welcome to be a part of the family. She's not welcome to disrespect your family traditions and recipes just because of her profession. Karen is manipulating my fiancé. Now he's dumping me. My fiancé is a single dad to Summer, who's 15. Summer has an autoimmune disease, and her mom isn't in the picture. Her dad spoils her rotten because of this. If dinner's already done, but Summer wants something else, he orders it for her because she gets cravings. She doesn't do any chores around the house, and I'm not allowed to ask her for help with anything. If she's being a brat, he excuses it because her medicines cause mood swings, and she can demand all of his attention whenever she wants it. Summer goes to one of those year-round schools, so instead of a 3-month summer break, They get like a month in the summer and they split the other 2 months up throughout the rest of the year. Because of this, she has a 4-week winter break. Summer was supposed to spend the first week of winter break on vacation with her friend and her mom. It was okay at first. I enjoyed spending time with my fiance without her interrupting us every 10 minutes, but she still called when she woke up, before she went to bed, and every few hours in between. She constantly complained that she missed him. This was the first time she's been away from him since her mom left. On day 4, we got a call from her friend's mom. Summer wasn't feeling well and wanted to go home. I answered the phone the first time, and I asked the mom if she had a fever. Was she throwing up, or was she actually sick? The mom said no fever or throwing up, but she's just tired and says that she wants to go home. I told her to tell Summer to stick it out and call us if she actually gets sick. Summer decided to call her dad, say she didn't feel good, and that I said she couldn't come home. He didn't even give me a chance to explain myself before kicking me out of the house and starting the 4-hour drive to the friend's cabin. When they got home, he told me he needs to rethink our relationship. I told him Summer is manipulating him now like she always does, and listed examples of her using her illness to get what she wants with her dad. He told me not to contact him for the next few weeks while he thinks about if he really wants to marry me and hasn't spoken to me since. Am I the jerk for saying Summer is manipulative? You're the jerk. Summer doesn't need a reason to come home. If she wanted to come home because she wanted to sleep in her own bed, that is valid. Also, autoimmune disease can be debilitating, and there's not enough info here to know if she is actually just being a brat or if you are being a jerk. But based off the rest of your post, I'm going with the latter. It's wild that you feel entitled to gatekeep when someone else's kid is allowed to come back to their home. You're not looking like the step-parent material. I think rethinking this marriage will be in the best interest of everyone involved. Edit, because people make excuses like this woman didn't know what she signed up for. Are y'all on like 90-day finance or something? Cause I'm confused how you could have been together more than 90 days and not realize this was not gonna work out with how much vitriol you have for his daughter. OP is a fairy tale villain type of stepmother. You're the jerk. You're the jerk. Are you modeling your approach to being a stepmother from Disney? You're the jerk. Whether or not she's spoiled, it's not on you to decide if Summer can come home or not. You're not the parent, and you didn't make that decision based on parenting or helping the kid, but just because you didn't want her around. You're dating a man with a kid and not the mother around. You're not always going to be the center of his attention. You need to grow up. You're the jerk, both for calling her manipulative and for telling Summer to stick it out when she's sick. Clearly, you prefer that this kid not be around. I enjoyed spending time with my fiance without her interrupting us. He's a dad. They're a package deal. You guys are not compatible, and honestly, your actions and attitude are unforgivable. Well, what do you think? Is OP the jerk or not? Please let us know. My own daughter refuses to help me. I'm 54 and my daughter is 28. She's home on break from grad school getting her PhD. She's only home for 2 weeks because she says that she doesn't have any more time even though she has a month break. That's been a big thing with her lately. She's constantly too busy to do things with us or help us out even though she does have the time. I got my younger daughter a sweater and it turns out that she already has it. I called my older daughter from work on Friday and told her she needed to run and exchange it for a different one. She said okay, she'd do it the next day. I said it needed to be done that day to get the best options, and she said she was grading, so she can't. I told her that it's not like she can't pause her grading, run out, and exchange it. She said she wasn't going to slow down her work and just said that I should do it when I got back from work that day. I said I was busy too and didn't feel like running out after a long day of work, and she said neither does she. But she doesn't have a long day of work. She's sitting on her butt at her computer all day and doesn't even have scheduled hours to work. She can do it whenever she wants. Today, things really kicked off because I needed her to pick up an online order for a gift for my mom, her grandma. She again used the excuse of grading. She hadn't even started working yet. It was in the morning and she was drinking coffee and having breakfast. She said that she needs to have her grades done by today, but I looked it up on the website and she has until Monday evening, so I called her on her BS, and she said she had other work due on Monday, so she needed to get the grading done today, but wouldn't enlighten me on what this mysterious other work was. I said, well, tough. This needs to be picked up today so I can wrap it, and I was going into the office, so I couldn't do it. She said that if I don't want to do it myself, then it will be done on her own time. I told her with that attitude, she can stay somewhere else, and she said, happily, and packed her things, claiming she didn't want to stay here anyway, but was only doing so because I insisted. She left her gifts and said to not expect her for the holidays, and she'll go to her girlfriend's family instead. I think it's ridiculous that she's throwing a fit just because she can't constantly live like she's the only person on the planet. But my wife and other daughter are now furious with me. So I figured I'd ask here because my younger daughter is always reading the stories with me. Am I the jerk, or am I correct that my daughter is self-centered and childish? Edit. I want to clarify two things. 1. I'm her dad. Not sure why everyone keeps referring to me as her mother. 2. Everyone keeps telling me that the grade due date is actually the post date. If I was allowed to, I would post the link so that you could see that her calendar literally says December 19th, grades due from faculty, and December 20th, grades posted. She literally admitted to lying that they were due Sunday, today. So I'm not sure why people are so stuck on insisting I'm wrong about that. You're the jerk. Are you correct that your daughter is self-centered and childish? Nope, that's a mirror that you're looking at. Seriously, this grown man is throwing a temper tantrum because his adult daughter isn't willing to take orders and run his errands. I hope she has an awesome Christmas with her girlfriend. I have a feeling he made her take responsibility for his errands a lot growing up, and she's come back home to see her family armed with boundaries because she knows what it's like. He doesn't like not being able to order her around anymore. Yes, this is also one reason that students who are the first in their family to attend college, graduate school, etc. can struggle because they lack the support and understanding at home. They're still asked to chip in with chores and duties around the house because it's just school, or they aren't working. I don't know if that's what's at play here though, because this just sounds like an entitled jerk parent who's upset he's losing control over his daughter. OP says himself that she's sitting on her butt on her computer all day and doesn't even have scheduled hours to work, which adds a lot of color here to the situation. It seems clear that he doesn't view what she does as real work, which is honestly really sad, and the fact that he's mystified as to what other work she has beyond teaching and grading tells me that they do not have a good relationship. If you've ever met a graduate student, it's generally pretty hard to get them to shut up about their research interests once you get them going on it. That OP's dad is struggling to figure out what else his daughter might be doing tells me that he probably has little to no idea what it is that she's actually studying. Good for her for setting boundaries. Am I the jerk for refusing to lie to my niece about why she's not allowed to come skiing with me? I, female 29, have a brother, Hugo, who's 31. When Hugo was 19, he got his then-girlfriend, Amy, pregnant. They had their daughter, Ashley, who's now 11, and later got married and had a boy who's 4. Over the years, I've become close to Ashley. When I'm home, I live abroad, I take her out to shows, shopping, horse riding, etc. We always keep in contact via text. She's bright and thoughtful, just a pleasure to have around. Amy has never liked me, but has mostly put this aside for Ashley. Me and my boyfriend are visiting my family for Christmas and then leaving to go skiing. We arranged for Ashley to come skiing and stay with us for New Year's. Amy wasn't keen on this idea, but relented because Ashley was excited to learn how to ski, as all of her friends do. I took my boyfriend's hire car to pick Ashley up from school on Friday, and she was excited because it's a sports car, and I let her friends sit in it and take pictures. At dinner, she asked if I would drive her to and chaperone her and her friends going ice skating on Tuesday in town. Hugo said I probably didn't want to look after a bunch of kids, and Amy had already planned to chaperone. Ashley ignored him and begged me to chaperone. I didn't really mind, but Amy looked annoyed, so I said I wouldn't want to mess with the established plan. Ashley kept pushing and said she didn't want Amy to come because Amy dresses badly and was never fun and embarrassed her. Hugo told her to apologize, which she did, but she also kept insisting it was true. Amy got teary-eyed, and Hugo kept telling Ashley she had upset her mother, but this just made Ashley angrier and she dug her heels in. Because of this, she was told she was not allowed to go ice skating and is now not speaking to Amy. Yesterday, Amy and Hugo came to me and said they didn't want Ashley to come skiing anymore. Amy feels like Ashley needs to spend more time with her family and Hugo is supporting her. They asked if I would tell Ashley that me and my boyfriend had changed our plans and wouldn't be going on the trip anymore. I asked why, and they said that if they told Ashley the truth, that she would blame Amy, and that would defeat the point of her trying to build a bridge with Ashley. I said I understand that, but I didn't feel right lying to Ashley, and if her parents had made the decision, they need to deal with the consequences, not push it onto me. Amy said if I cared about Ashley, I would realize it's best for me to fall on my sword rather than alienate her further from her mother. I said no again, but Hugo said we should all take until Wednesday to think about it. Ashley is still being very standoffish to her mother, and I know if she finds out her mother canceled the ski trip, it will just get worse. So now I'm wondering if I should go along with Amy's plan. I just want to know what's best for Ashley. Am I the jerk? Edit. To add the background to Amy and Ashley's relationship. A lot of it comes from Amy trying very hard to be Ashley's friend. Amy was young when she had Ashley, and she was quite isolated caring for her while Hugo worked and went to uni. He was cut off by her parents at that time. She threw all her effort into being a mom and being as close to Ashley as humanly possible. Ashley has explained to me that this has become very suffocating to her. She's trying to forge her own circle and feels like Amy insists on being part of it, while also refusing to engage with her on her own level. The second part is that my parents pay for Ashley to attend a very prestigious private school. Hugo and Amy are nowhere near as affluent as the other families, and Ashley feels a bit left out. It's part of the reason I've chipped in for some of her extracurricular activities. But the fact is, she doesn't always feel like she fits in, which is hard for her. Her school is full of non-working Range Rover and Birkin mothers who are either cool or absent, and Amy is neither. She's involved, but Ashley finds her stifling and doesn't want her to be involved in her social life. It's also my opinion that Ashley is trying to get some emotional space from her mother the only way she knows how, by making her not want to spend time with her. Amy doesn't respond to her requests, so I think she's just resorting to being mean to her, which obviously isn't okay. Edit 2. Since this is being asked a lot, Ashley and I have talked since the dinner, and she knows I think she shouldn't have said what she said. We've talked about it. She even said that she shouldn't have said what she did. Did I go ham and tell her that she's entitled, spoiled, and throw the kitchen sink at her? No, but she knows that I think what she said was wrong, and she agrees. Not the jerk. And not only will Ashley prefer knowing the truth, but she will also feel as though she can trust you because you're refusing to lie to her. Also, Amy trying to guilt you into lying by pulling the "if you actually care about Ashley" rhetoric is such a jerk move. Not the jerk. Amy and Hugo need to confront Ashley about how she treats her mother, and they should not ask you to lie. Ashley not going on the ski trip should be presented for what it actually is, a punishment, not a means of bridge building. Not the jerk. Ashley, on the other hand, is. Ashley's being a typical preteen, embarrassed by her parents. Most kids at some point get embarrassed by their parents. The family needs therapy, not lies. Let's face it, at the minimum, 4 people will know about their lie. Ashley's parents, the OP, and her boyfriend. Is the OP expected to lie to everyone who asks her why Ashley isn't going skiing? Because I would guess that other family members know about the plans. My point is that a lot of people will know about the lie, and the more people who know about the lie, the greater the chance that someone will accidentally let slip the truth. And once Ashley knows the truth, she will lose all trust in her parents, and the situation will likely get worse. Ashley should be told that her behavior has lost her the skiing trip, the truth. And Amy and Ashley probably need therapy to help their relationship. Therapy, not punishment. Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP, Amy, or Ashley? Please let us know. If I had ever mouthed off like that at my mother when I was growing up, you don't even want to know what my parents would have done to me. Am I the jerk for buying a separate fridge for our garage and putting a lock on it to keep my husband out? I, 32 female, am expecting my first child with my husband Paul, 36 male. Fake names. I'm currently 10 weeks pregnant, and my biggest pregnancy issue is fatigue and mainly cravings and hunger. No matter what I do, I can't seem to stay full. I eat all day, but have managed to still lose 3 pounds. Problem is, we don't always have what I want. So a few times a week, I stop at the store on my way home and I stock up on my favorite snacks. Pizza, pickles, fruit, especially oranges, grapes, and watermelon. Popcorn, chicken noodle soup, string cheese, etc. I've been doing this since maybe about 5 weeks. But every time I check the fridge, almost all of my snacks are gone. I keep telling Paul to stop eating my food, and he says that it's not a big deal and I can just go get more. But that involves me, not him, stopping at the store more, and me, again not him, spending more of my money. Last week, I just snapped. I had bought my favorite ice cream, Neapolitan. I put it in the freezer and decided to take a nap before writing a paper. I'm currently getting my master's. I planned to have a bowl when I woke up and began working on it. When I woke up, I went to the freezer and saw it had been opened. Now, I can't eat an entire quart of ice cream all by myself, so I wasn't mad that he had some until I saw what he did to it. My husband ate all of the strawberry side and left me with just the vanilla and chocolate, and the strawberry is my favorite part. I got mad and started yelling at him. He told me it was unreasonable of me to bring food in the house and not expect him to have any of it. But I told him that wasn't what I expected, but he knew that was my favorite ice cream and my favorite part of it was all gone, and he's always eating my snacks. He just told me to run to the store and get some more, so I just went back upstairs because he wasn't listening. I opened my laptop and ordered a full-sized fridge, $2,300, paid for from my personal savings account that he has never contributed to. My husband and I don't mingle our accounts together, so he never saw I bought it until 2 days ago when it was delivered to our house. He came home from work and saw it plugged in our garage. He asked why there were locks on it and how much it cost. I told him not to worry about how much it cost, and there's locks on it to make sure he doesn't eat all my snacks for my cravings. He said I can't control what he eats, and I told him I'm not. I'm just controlling who eats my snacks. But the fridge in the house is open, and he can have whatever he wants from it and the cabinets. But the fridge in the garage is for me only. I haven't had to go to the store at all this weekend, and all my food is locked up. But Paul is not speaking to me for 2 reasons. For making a large purchase without talking to him first, and for turning food into a war, his words. So, am I the jerk? Edit. FYI, this is the only issue we're having right now. We've been married for 2 years. Edit 2. Also, I got a full size instead of a mini because ours in the kitchen is kind of old, and I figured it could be replaced if it should go out. Or it could just be in the garage for the summer, and we can put beers and sodas in it. Not the jerk for getting a refrigerator. You have every right to be annoyed and frustrated that he has no respect for you concerning food. What bothers me is that after eating your food, he tells you to go out and buy more. That's some nerve. Why doesn't he go out himself and replace the food he took? He sounds extraordinarily selfish. Unless he's willing to have some kind of couples counseling, I'm afraid he will keep behaving this way even after the baby arrives. You are so right. He's saying, yes, I ate all the food you bought for growing my baby. I don't care that it upsets you. No, I will not get up off my lazy butt and spend my money to replace your food. You just need to take your hungry pregnant self back to the store so I have more food. This guy is a selfish jerk. It doesn't seem like he cares about OP all that much. I wouldn't have bought a new fridge. I would have changed the locks. OP, you are not the jerk, but you really need to consider what your future is going to look like, because I don't think his attitude is going to get better. Once your baby comes, you will be a single mother of 2. Sounds like he turned it into a war first. Not the jerk. Shame you have a kid with this person already though. It will make the inevitable divorce messier. Not the jerk. The fact that he eats all of your snacks and then refuses to go to the store to replace them with his own money, but expects you to constantly return to the store to replace with your money is a massive red flag. You're about to have this jerk's baby. I think you need to consider couples counseling because this is not a healthy partnership. Well, who do you think is the jerk? OP or her husband? Please let us know. Man, I never knew how seriously people take their snacks. It's not the snacks, Karen. It's the blatant disrespect that he's showing, which is a major red flag. I know. Please don't talk to me like you're a Reddit comment. Stop communicating? Fine. I've been working as an underwriter for several years. I evaluate loans that are submitted through the queue. I also forward some loan applications, apps, to senior underwriters should applicants apply for a higher amount. Part of our expectations as underwriters is to decide on at least 3 apps each hour. If we do not meet this request, then we are put on warnings and are subject to being fired. I work alone with another underwriter on Sundays. He let me know that he was very low on his decisions per hour, and in the spirit of cooperation, and because my numbers are always well above that due to experience, I asked him how many apps he'd like to work out of the main queue and did his first come first served for apps. At first, he was appreciative of the help and would let me know how much he was going to do, and I'd be sure to leave the apps for them. A month ago, he IM'd me and told me to stop asking him how many apps he was going to do that day, as he was feeling micromanaged. I let him know that I was just trying to help him meet his numbers and that I was only asking to make sure I didn't get in the way. He told me to stop communicating with him and to just work the queue. I made sure to document the conversation should there be any backlash for the upcoming malicious compliance. From that day on, I just used my experience to my advantage and claimed as many apps as I could. On a normal Sunday, there are around 150 apps. Under our arrangement before, I did half of them and left the other 75-ish for him. The queues and how intense the applications are can vary, which is why I'd always communicate with him. After that, I did as many apps as I felt I could, while still being accurate, as that is another thing that we're judged on. For the last 3 Sundays, the amount of apps the other underwriter did has gone down to around 20 apps each Sunday due to how fast and accurately I was able to get through the rest of the queue. I also stopped answering his questions in the chats and said that I was too busy working to answer his questions. He is now on a verbal warning, and he is too prideful to tell me he was wrong or apologize, so I'm keeping course. I was able to change shifts and no longer work Sundays due to how good my numbers look, so I will no longer have to work with him alone on Sunday. I still refuse to answer his questions the other days of the week we work. I have not been approached by my management for my malicious compliance and have only been praised on my work thus far.
Support our channel by joining as a member today, and we'll give you a shout out in our next video.
Or come watch this video next. You won't believe what Karen does in that one.